Hi guys, this is Terry Felty, Director of Golf at Big Sticks Golf in Burlington, Massachusetts. And today I just want to go over a shot that is pretty prevalent for most golfers. It's just a short little 15, 20, 25 yard chip or pitch. It's not quite a chip shot and not quite a full pitch shot. The kids in here call it a pip shot, and it's just kind of a tweener. So the first thing I want to talk about is what I see too often is, people set up with the ball in the middle of their stance, and then they do their practice swings, or when they take their real swing, and they're going to hit the ground well behind the ball and hit it fat. So you're going to see that my club's going to get into the ground about there. If you're taking practice swings and that's where you're hitting the ground, then you need to put the ball there. All right? You don't think you're going to just fix it on the next swing. So you want to put the ball where you're hitting the ground. All right? I personally like to play these shots a little farther back in my stance. So I don't want to put the ball center and then not move. And typically that's caused by you're not moving your body at all. You're just pulling down with your arms. All right? So we don't want to just pull our arms down. We do have to move our body a little bit here. And you can see I stop and then I start to pop up, and that's where the club hits the ground, and that shot's going to result in just hitting it a foot or blading it or just nothing really good. The second thing we see is, and we've kind of all been taught this to some extent, like on a chip shot, you'd play the ball really far back in your stance, get your hands well forward, and then a lot of people, if they need to hit this farther or hit a little longer shot, just do the same thing and then try to chop down harder. And I'm not a big fan of this one either, because if you hit the ground even slightly behind the ball, it's going to shut it down. Even if you do hit it, the ball is going to come out very low and rolling. You're not going to have any real control of it. So when we set up to hit these shots, what I like to see is I do like to see the ball a little farther back in my stance, so closer to my back foot. You'll see that when I set up, my stance is open, meaning that my front foot is dropped back behind my trail foot, and my feet are a little closer than normal. My weight is going to be on my front foot. I'm going to take a little weaker grip than I normally would, which means I'm going to turn my left hand or my front hand a little bit more towards the target, almost so that the thumb on my left hand is right on the center of the shaft. From here, when I take it back, I'm going to keep the club face a little open. So as I take it back, you'll see the leading edge of the club is almost pointing straight up, and I'm going to take it a little bit to the inside of my hands. So I'm going to have a little bit of an inside takeaway. I'm going to allow that club to stay open, and then from there I'm hopefully going to just rotate my hips through and not really use my hands very much through this. So let's see how it goes. So we take it back, the club face is open, straight up and down, club's on the inside. Now my body's going to just rotate around. I strike it. I'm actually squaring the club face with my hips. You can see my knees stay flexed. I don't want to change my height a whole lot. And when I finish, my belt buckle is basically pointing at my target. My hands have stayed very low, and that for me is just a standard little pitch shot. I'm trying to hit this probably 8 to 10 yards short of the hole and let it release and roll out to the hole. Okay? That launch angle on that particular shot was 32. So that was about the right height that I'm looking for. If for some reason I need to hit it lower, or I need to get it to roll out a little bit more, I'm going to take basically the same stance, same setup, but this time when I take the club back, I'm going to rotate my left hand down toward the ground, which is going to close the face. So you can see this time the leading edge of the club is pointing more to the right. The face is more closed. This is going to help me de-loft the club. From here, I'm going to do everything else the same. So we'll set up, ball position's the same. I'm going to take it back, de-loft the club. Take it back here again a little slower. So now you can see the club face is a little bit more closed, still slightly inside. From here, my hips are pulling me around. My hands stay in front. I strike the ball first. and that one's going to be much lower. Alright, so the launch angle on that one was about 27, which is what I like. That one released and rolled out more. Now, me personally, I would just change clubs and go to a less lofted club and do my standard pitch shot. But some people like to chip or pitch with just one club, so you have to make it work. All right. Now, if I need to hit one a little higher for some reason, and I want to have it land a little softer and maybe roll a little less, I'm going to set up a little differently. I'm going to set up now with the ball a little bit more in the middle of my stance, and my feet are going to be square. I'm now going to take a 10-finger grip, which means I'm going to have all 10 fingers on the club. I'm not going to overlap or interlock. I'm using basically a baseball grip. I'm going to have the club very square to the target. So there you can see the 10-finger grip. From here, when I take it back, it's still going to be a shorter backswing. The club's a little less inside. The face is still pretty square. But as I come down, I'm going to accelerate my right hand down and through the shot. And that's going to make the ball pop up very quickly. And you see my follow through is much shorter. Alright, I'm using more hands here to accelerate the club head, which gives me more speed, but I'm not closing the club. So I'm going to keep the club face from turning over. I'm going to keep it aimed right at my target. I'm just going to accelerate my right hand through, which is going to shoot the club under the ball quicker, elevate it quicker. The launch angle on that one was 45. So that ball is going to be much higher. It's not going to roll out quite as much. Not a shot that I typically use, and if you are going to use this, you want to make sure that you know, if you're hitting it off of a real tight fairway, it's going to be a little tougher shot. Make sure you use a club that doesn't have a lot of bounce on your wedge. A little easier out of the rough. All right, but you got to commit to it and go ahead and hit it. And because the ball is not really going to travel forward, it's going to travel higher. This is kind of like a pseudo flop shot. Okay? All right, guys, I hope this helps you. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, feel free to call me or come down to Big Sticks Golf or check us out on the web at bigsticksgolf.com. All right?